Hello, and welcome to Connecting Tucson with Jaime Overturf, broadcasting from the Tucson Business Channel, a division of Mark Bishop Media, situated in the Stewart Title corporate offices on Broadway, Tucson, Arizona. Connecting Tucson is all about connecting our community, our local businesses, and organizations to help our community grow and thrive. Today we're talking with Dee Brady, founder of Divinely Positive. I'm super excited about this. I've done some research, and I can't wait to tell you all about it. Dee is a Texas-raised girl who fell in love with the desert oasis that is known as Tucson, Arizona. We will not hold that against her, even though she's a transplant. After getting very sick and healing her body with holistic wellness, she embarked on a journey of love and self-healing. She is a self-proclaimed woo-woo sound healing practitioner, and we'll be sharing what this means today and how it may help us in the future. So thank you so much for coming on, Dee.
Thank you so much for having me.
Super excited. I always start off with a pretty much a background question. Why don't you tell me and the listeners just a little bit about yourself and what brought you here?
Yeah, well, I actually came to Tucson for a job and quite frankly, just to get out of Texas. I am a Texas born and raised, and I absolutely will always be Texas born and raised. Mm-hmm. But I fell in love with Arizona. And when I came here, I actually fell in love with Tucson. I did not know a soul. So it was truly just me and just trying to figure out this town. And now, owning my own business, I'm so happy that I can contribute to the community in the way I really want to contribute. And it's kind of taken me a journey to get here, but I love the journey looking back on it and how now I can be a part of the community even more.
Excellent. So have you always been interested in like the self-healing and wellness sector?
Yeah. I mean, I went to, I have a PhD in psychology, and I have obviously you do study psychology, but I've always been in wellness. And as I got older and you work through your career, you realize it's about touching people and in the work you do, and not so much checking off the box that you did this, you did that. And for a long time, I just lived my life that way, checking off the box, finding what career suited me the best. And I eventually found myself getting very sick, and I had to walk away and kind of figure out how to heal my body, but also really focus on me for the first time.
That's super hard to do.
It's super hard, and I think my body literally told me to stop. And you're not going any further, you're not doing anything else until you focus on you and not other people. I was so focused on, you get caught up in that race of just helping people. Mm-hmm. And I devoted my life to it. So I walked away and I started just healing myself. And the only way I knew how to do that was to kind of follow my own advice. It's funny how that catches up to you.
Harder to do than actually you think. Yes.
I mean, it caught up to me, and I thought, okay, you've done this for other people. You have been on your high horse telling everybody what to do. And I needed to just slow down and talk to myself. And I just took that journey, and actually I had surgery, and that really allowed me to heal my body. But in the time that I was healing my body, I just fell in love with who I was. I fell in love with myself all over again and my journey to my purpose.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about that journey, because it is quite unique and how you did that, and how it brought you to here. Walk us through that journey of how you actually got to the self-healing.
Yeah, and you did say I'm very woo-woo, and I am very woo-woo, and I will claim it.
So before we go on, why don't we say, what is woo-woo?
So woo-woo's the person that believes in things like manifestation, and mm-hmm. we are the creators of our life. And when I stopped making excuses for myself, when I stopped saying, well, it's really that person's fault or it's that person's fault, and I said, no, this is you. You've gotten here because of you. And I stopped making it about other people. I made it about me. And the woo-woo came out of, I'm in power. I'm in control in my own life. And I can seek the counsel I want to seek to help me along the way, which became very woo-woo. So the woo-woo person loves crystals and they love, maybe it's like astrology or things like that help you along the way. So kind of going against your typical psychology and realizing that there's other ways to live a positive life. And so woo-woo is just kind of that direction of believing in the full moons and how we can work with the full moons, or how we can work.
Very symbiotic relationship with like nature and some other other manifestations.
Nature.
Yes. Okay.
And that's one thing that brought me on my journey is I did fall in love with Arizona all over again, because when I first moved here, I don't think I took the time to fall.
It is really beautiful here.
It really is. And there's something so magical about the desert. And so when I was on my journey to heal my body, I would take long, long walks through the desert. And all of a sudden I was just falling in love with the beautiful cactus. And in that journey of just falling in love with where I live now and embracing where I live now, I was falling in love with myself. And this is really who I am. And I can embrace nature and the beauty of Arizona, and I can be woo-woo, and it's okay, because I think for so long, and I have an event coming up about all of this. So
we
it's
will
actually
get there. Yes, 100%.
So it's actually on my mind. But for so long, we wear masks every day of who we want people to look at us. So for a long time, I wore that mask. I want to be viewed this way. I want to, I was checking off the checklist. I want to be viewed as, the person, the educated person. And I want to be viewed as the person that has a lot to contribute in my job. And I want to be viewed as the person who is respected in her community and all these things. And one of the journeys that I took was I'm also very crafty and artsy. And I started crafting, and I ended up crafting on TV and just being who I authentically was. So I wasn't so much in a box anymore. Yeah. And I think this whole journey was coming out of my box. That I do have a lot to contribute in other ways, but I was just sitting in that box.
You were confining yourself in the abilities that you actually had day in and day out.
Day in and day out. And then I realized, I'm so much more. And I don't have to wear this mask of, please think that I'm this, or please think that I'm that, because we do that. And that's the mask that we wear every day. And when certain things were happening and people ask you questions like, when are you going to get married? When are you going to have kids? And those things just aren't happening. You tend to put that mask on and say, well, I still have value, even if those things aren't happening. And so I was going down that journey of who am I? And when I got sick, I just had to be who I was. I was literally confronted with what we call our shadow.
Okay.
And so a lot of inner work is shadow work. And the shadows are simply the people, who we are that we hide. Mm-hmm. So when we sit down and we confront that shadow, and the shadow usually represents what has happened in our lifetimes. Maybe it's who the world told you to be, but not who you are, but who the world told you to be. So maybe it's your parents told you to be one way, or society told you to be one way, or religion, or whatever it may be, told you to be one way. So when I confronted my own shadow for the first time in my life, I realized I can work through that shadow and be truly who I am today.
And that is a lot harder to do than one might think, because it's so hard to be yourself in front of somebody, especially when there are so many social ideologies out there that are preconceived of what women and men should both be doing at certain times in their lives. And it's just what everybody seems to be expected. But it's not like everyone has the same, I guess, goal in life. I have friends who don't want to have children, and that is okay. But they feel pressured in society, and nowadays, when they're in their 30s and 40s, why don't you have kids? Okay. I love my friend saying, well, why do you? Yeah. It went right back, and it just kind of, why do I need to? And that is such amazing strength that you've taken to actually pull through and go through your shadow, is the way you say it. And I'm super excited about how we can tell our listeners how they can help with that as well, or how you can help them with that. So my next question kind of ties right into that. What made you want to open up Divinely Positive and be able to help others? What was that click that says, oh, this is what I want to do to help others, not just for yourself, but what made you want to do and make that step further?
Yeah, so when I was on my journey, and I was also I fell in love with sound healing. And I knew that that is one way, and just another way I can provide a sense of therapy. And it looks different than the traditional, go sit on a couch, right? It looks totally different. And I thought, oh, I love that. I love that people can still come and experience the sound healing, but I also can do my little, I can still talk to people and in a way that's not clinical. So you take the clinical out of it and you get just me, sitting there and again, I'm woo-woo, so you might walk in and I'm wearing a tiara full of crystals, right? I mean, that to me is me being me, and I love that I can do that. But one thing in my journey when I fell in love with sound healing, I knew I wanted to bring that to Tucson. And it's all over Tucson. There are different ways to connect with sound healing. I remember when I first started, it was really, you got to go to these wellness centers, and there's some very expensive ones. And
there are a lot of expensive ones.
There are, and but while you're there, you get it's worth the money. You get you get your value, you get your therapy. But I thought I want to bring sound healing to everyone and make it accessible, make it inexpensive, and make it to where everybody can have this healing modality, because it is incredible, and I wanted to just open it to everybody. And so when I had the opportunity at first I had the opportunity to bring it to different places, locations in town. I would get hired to go and do sound healing sessions, because I didn't have my own location. At first, that's how I got started, and I truly loved it. But I thought, I want my own space to bring people in. And then I'm in charge of my own space. When you walk in, I'm in charge of making you feel comfortable. I'm in charge of, the atmosphere, the vibe is what I call it. I'm in charge of my own vibe. And I love that I can be in charge of my own vibe. And when people walk in, what do you need from me? Because I want to provide that from you. If it's, you just need to release some anxiety, or you need to ground yourself, or you need clarity, then let me help you provide that for you, and I can kind of focus on that during your session.
Okay.
So it kind of became, I wanted something accessible for everybody, not just these, centers. Yeah.
Sound healing sounds very unique, and I'll be the first to admit I didn't know anything about it until I started researching. What is sound healing?
Yeah, that is the biggest question. What is sound healing? And then my best way to describe it is, we are energy. Everything is energy. And so the bowl, I play crystal bowls, and they each have their own note, but they also each represent a chakra in our body. So when I play them, and when you come in for a session, you literally just lay down. That's all you do. You just come and you lay down. So it's wonderful. Already there, you get to just be comfortable. And your energy will match the frequencies of the bowls. And what it does is it balances your nervous system.
Okay.
So for somebody that might look like their anxiety is releasing, or at least going down. A lot of times before a session, I may say, where are you at in your anxiety? At the end of it, I may ask you where you're at now, because it's most likely going to go down. So your energy will just align. It just aligns and balances. Your body back out to where it should be.
Okay, so do you ever use any other type of instruments, or is it all just the crystal bowls?
Crystal bowls. I use crystal bowls. I also use chimes.
Okay.
But there's also other bowls. There's Tibetan bowls, which they're the smaller bowls. Most people have seen those. And then some people use a gong. That could be very... Because
kind of like at the end of yoga when they do like the gong, or I can't remember the other one, but it'll come to me here in a minute.
Yeah.
When they do it to announce that it's the end and come on.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so the vibration of that gong matches your vibration, and so therefore you just become balanced. And that's the beauty of it, is you don't have to do anything. In yoga we have to move, and it's actually quite hard.
Yes, it is.
It's actually quite hard. I mean, I'm not the best at yoga, so for me, it's like I'm wobbly. But in sound healing, you literally just go and lay down. and you get into a meditative state of consciousness. That's actually what it does too, is it takes you into a meditative state of consciousness. So you just release everything, you forget your thoughts. And I always tell everybody who comes, if you suddenly get caught up in your thoughts again, maybe it's something that happened during the day, or maybe it's something you're truly worried about, stress or whatever. Just remember, the sounds, make the sounds come back with you. So maybe it's a certain bowl that you connect with. Every time you hear that bowl, come back to me, come back to that sound. So it's kind of a reminder to come back.
Okay. Do you offer any other products or services besides sound healing? Ooh.
Yeah. So another thing I wanted to do is, typically when I was doing this, when I was participating myself, it's just sessions. And another thing I wanted to do is also kind of bring a little bit of psychology into it, and also a little bit of woo-woo into it. Okay. So that's what I offer, different events that bring a little bit of the woo-woo. So maybe we do things a little bit different, but also bring just a little bit of the, psychology background in there. We offer transformational events, and that's one of my goals, is to offer more of those.
Okay.
And we gear towards women, of transforming women. And so when they come there, they can just get to the version of themselves they want to be.
Okay. And when you say we, are there any other businesses or partners that you partner with to do these types of events?
In certain, during sessions, it's just me. Mm-hmm. But I do have women that I partner up with and collaborate with to bring a whole transformational journey.
Okay.
So we partner up together, and my studio is a great place to do it. Everybody comes there, and we just do the events there. But I'm so grateful. I have so many women that I can partner up with that they're amazing. And they're so amazing.
This is part of the Moxie, correct? Mm-hmm. Okay. What is the Moxie?
So the Moxie it's a bit, it looks like a house, so we call it, the Moxie house.
Okay.
It's a collaborative group of women. They're all business owners.
Okay.
And it's really fun. It's kind of like, I was never part of a sorority, but it's kind of like that, at least what I imagine a sorority to be. We help each other out in business. We share clients, and we're always talking about what we can do as a Moxie house. So our creator is Tori. She's a photographer. We have a makeup and hair. Art. She's actually incredible. She does Netflix specials, and she's incredible. And then we also have a massage therapist. So after you see me, you can just go over to massage and get a great massage from her.
Wow.
I know, it's great. And then we also have permanent makeup, and she also does a little bit of energy. So it's just a group of women that come together, and we share a building. But it's just, that space is just collaborative. So we're feeding off each other.
Amazing. What does Moxie actually mean, though?
Yeah, Moxie's kind of an interesting word. So Moxie's it's very old fashioned.
Because you got a lot of Moxie. I remember seeing that in some of the movies.
Like the old movies, right?
Yes,
the old movies. Yeah. It's very I tend to think of 1920s, 1930s.
I love that era in movies.
I love that. That's the golden age.
I know.
And the most beautiful women actresses back then, Mm-hmm. So classy. But Moxie is very you're very Moxie. You kind of have a little bit of an attitude. And you're just good. You're just on top of your A game. And that's what the Moxie would be like.
So you got some backbone, you've got some personality, you own your own space type deal, and you're not letting other people's perceptions kind of take over.
Yeah, and we also say we're a powerhouse of business owners. We're women, and we love that we can empower other women to be business owners, and we invite you to come and experience that. And because when I jumped in, I'm not an entrepreneur. I didn't think I was an entrepreneur. When I jumped in, I just jumped in head, it was feet first. And I was just ready, scared.
But ready.
And that's kind of what the Moxie is. We just jump in there, and we empower each other and we empower other women. And I've been, when people come for sessions, they leave saying, I feel different. What's going on?
Amazing.
Why do I feel different? They ask me, why do I feel different? Because that's the power, number one, of the bowls, the frequencies and the vibrations of the bowls, but you're also getting your whole body back in line. But also, too, I have twinkly lights at night, and the whole place is lit up with candles and twinkly lights. So you leave there just very peaceful. And so to me, the Moxie, yes, we have a little bit of an attitude. We're women who want to show you who we are, but we're also very peaceful. It's a magical place.
Oh, that is amazing. I hope you're enjoying the show here today. We're going to be right back in just a few moments.
And a very interesting show, as usual. And if you're just tuning in, you're listening to Connecting Tucson with Jaime Overturf. It's where she focuses on connecting our community, local businesses, and organizations to help our community grow and thrive. And as your local insurance professional for all insurance needs, I know that Jaime knows how important it is to make new and lasting connections in her own community. You never know how connection will create a spark or pull you in a unique direction. So if you're in a small business, maybe you're a medium business owner, small business owner, doesn't matter, or involved in a community project and you'd like to be featured on this show, please feel free to give her a call. All her information is on the TucsonBusinessChannel.com. Just click on Connecting Tucson with Jaime. And Jaime would love to hear from you.
If you're just tuning in, you're listening to Connecting Tucson with Jaime, where we focus on connecting our community, local businesses, and organizations to help our community grow and thrive right here in Tucson, Arizona. As your local insurance professional for all of your insurance needs, from home and auto insurance to business and workman's compensation and life insurance or key man insurance, I have you covered, or a product you could potentially use. Give me a call at 520-293-2900 and tell them you heard this podcast. There may be a special gift waiting for you. Quoting takes just a few moments, and I could save you some time and money on your premiums and potentially make sure you're better covered. If you're a small business owner or involved in a community project and you want to be featured on the show, give me a call as well. All of my information is on the Tucson Business Channel. Just click on Connecting Tucson with Jaime. I would love to hear from you. Right now, we're talking with Dee Brady, the founder of Divinely Positive, and how can Divinely Positive help bring some perspective and balance into our lives. I think she's been telling us very much how that can help get your nervous center centered, your chakras centered, and everything else. But I have a question for you. For someone like me who didn't know what there was, do you have any misconceptions of what people think you are and what you're doing, versus when they finally find out reality? And what are those misconceptions and how do you battle them?
Yeah, people, first of all, they don't even know what to think. They hear sound healing, so they immediately, well, what exactly do I do? Do you touch me? No, you come in, you lay down, and we call it a sound bath is what we call it. And the reason why we do that is because you're literally being bathed in frequencies and vibrations. In fact, the closer you sit to me, the more vibrations you feel. So it's actually good to get there early because you get that spot. And some people love that spot. But in fact, I was playing at a garden. It's a beautiful garden. And all of a sudden a snake came out because he felt the vibration on the ground. And so that's just how powerful these vibrations are. But that's what brings your nervous system back to alignment. And so I think
would have made my mom flee.
Yeah. Yeah. And this Texas girl went, "Oh, it's okay. He's a good one. Let me put him back." Because he was a good one. He's one of those that eats the
king snakes or something. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good one. And I didn't turn into my grandmother who goes and gets a shotgun. But that's also a Texas woman, what we do. But I didn't turn into my grandmother. I just said, "Oh, he's a good one. Let's leave him. He loves the sound." And then everybody started calling me a snake charmer?
Yes.
And I thought, oh, no, that's a misconception.
No, but yeah, that's wonderful. So if I were to call up, what would one expect from a booking? Do you do single bookings? Are they group settings? Can you walk us through how that process looks like from when somebody calls you or books it online, what they can expect?
Yeah, so private sessions are available as well as group. So when you do come to a group, it could be just anybody who signs up. The spots are limited to about 8.
Okay.
So it's also a very intimate modality of healing. It's very intimate. So you aren't around it's not going to be a huge room of people. Now it can be, I've been to certain, like corporate, it could be a big group. But when you come to actually Divinely Positive, you can actually get a private session, and a private can be you and a friend or you and 2 friends. And I really cater it to you. So another thing that I do is I love meditations. I lead meditations, so I can cater the meditation to what you need. In fact, recently we had a big Barbie event, and we had a Barbie
movie
meditation.
Came out, right?
Yeah, right. And we had a big Barbie meditation.
Okay.
So meditations, and that's another misconception. We think it has to be so serious, and we think it has to be so, well, I'm not really spiritual, so I don't think I can do this. You don't have to be spiritual. You don't have to even know how to meditate. If you can just sit there and close your eyes and take it in, you're good. That's all you need. So in a private session, you can have your meditation catered to you. I also do breath work. So what we do is we move the energy around the room, because what happens is, especially for a later night session, everybody comes in with their energy from the day. So whatever happened to you at work, whatever happened with your kids and you're running around, you come in and sometimes you're just like,
frantic.
You're all over the map. Well, I can feel that energy, and I think, okay, let's move that energy around the room, and then we all come back to our core and our centers, and then we start. So we do start with breath work.
Okay.
And that's the way you move the energy, is you start breathing. It's really, really important. And then also during the session, I remind you, keep breathing, because if you just lay there and you don't breathe, you got to keep breathing. But that's also like in yoga, you got to keep breathing. Very important.
I made a mistake once.
Yeah, and it's a mistake people make. And some people actually love to come to a private session and literally just fall asleep. And that tells me that that's what they needed. That's what their body needed. So whatever your body needs, let your body react how it's going to react. So in a private session or a group session, you can feel how your body is responding. And it's truly your practice. It's what you put into it. So I never tell people how to take this practice, because honestly, it is truly up to you and how your body is going to respond, but how your soul, mind, and body all respond. Okay. And everybody's going to be different.
Everybody is different, and yes, they do bring in those different energies. How long does a session usually last, either privately or group sessions?
It could be, I usually keep it up to 45 minutes.
Okay.
So by the time we meditate, we breathe, and then we do our sound healing. And it's all just one big session. But it could be up to 45 minutes, up to an hour, depending on, what the group needs.
Okay.
Or a special event. Sometimes in our special events, we may go to an hour. And that's okay, because that's what that special event needed. But typically a session, you can count on 45 minutes.
Okay. We kind of touched base on your large event that's coming up. What, if any, are some big events that are coming up, either with Divinely Positive or the Moxie Girls, or both?
Yeah, I'm super excited because we are doing it's called Unmasked.
Okay.
And it's a workshop. And the reason why I'm so excited is because this is a message that needs to get out to everybody. I got in contact with a woman because of sound healing, and she's actually getting her certification. So she wanted to get with me and talk and do all those things. And we, we're women, typically, and also empaths, typically women who are in sound healing or any kind of Reiki or anything like that. We're very empaths. And so we just connected on a level, and she started showing me her artwork. And she's like, well, I'm a realtor, but, I am an artist. And she started showing me her artwork, and I'm telling you, it was just, I just stopped in my tracks. And typically when we see something and we connect with it, we're mirrors, and that means that something inside of me is a mirror to what it's telling me.
Okay.
So there was a message, and I knew that message was for me, and it was, you're hiding behind your mask. Why are you hiding? And her artwork was telling me that.
Wow.
And this is before I opened my studio. And what I was hiding behind is I knew I wanted to open my studio, but I didn't think I was good enough. And I didn't think I was worthy of it. And who's going to come? Who's going to really care about sound healing? Who's going to really connect with me? Am I good enough to do this? I don't know. Am I that imposter syndrome that we typically hear about? So her artwork, I came face to face with that wound of mine. And I told her that immediately. I said, there's a message, and this message is for me. And she went, oh, okay, I didn't know. But I said, but there's a bigger message, and this message is for everybody.
So Unmasked is about unmasking what other people see.
Yeah.
When is this event?
So it's August 19th, and we invite women. So when you first get there, you're going to see her artwork on the wall, and we're going to have it very quiet, kind of dark, candlelight, and you're going to connect with her artwork first. We want you to really connect with it because her art is women in poses,
okay,
wearing animal mask.
Okay.
So do you connect with that animal? Some of it's, tiger. She has a cheetah. She has a snake.
Ooh.
And each one of them have a different connection. So we invite everybody to connect. Then we invite you to think about your own mask. So for some people, that might look like shame. For some people, that could be imposter syndrome. I don't feel good enough. Maybe in my own life, I was never told to shine, get out of the way so other people can shine. So maybe that's like a mask that you wear, that you don't feel good enough to shine, stand on your own 2 feet. Whatever that mask may be, we invite you to really think about it and confront it. You're going to decorate your own mask.
Okay.
And then we invite women to wear that mask. We're going to start off talking about why do we put that mask on to begin with. And the reason why we often do is because, like we said, society, they tell us how to feel, who to be, check those boxes. You did this, you went to college, you did this, you did this, you did this. Like you said, you might be in your 40s with no children, but it doesn't matter. But, you check that off. So we invite people to think about why they put that mask on to begin with. Okay. So for everybody, that's going to be different. And then, because that process psychologically is very hard, once you confront why you did something, we want people, the next step is to forgive themselves for why they did that.
That's
because
key.
The next step is, I'm so ashamed I did that. Look how my life has turned out. It could have been so different. As women, we often could have been so different. Mm-hmm. We want people to also confront their mask, but we want you to forgive yourself. So it's a transformational journey. We're going to walk you through the forgiveness stages. We're going to do that with different healing modalities. We're going to do that through art because her art is powerful. We're going to do that through sound. We're going to do that through a cacao ceremony where we're literally going to release these masks. And at the end of it, you're literally going to throw your mask into fire. And when you walk out, you no longer wear that mask. We're going to give you ways that you will not put that mask on again. We're going to give you thoughts that you can take home and different modalities to help you keep that mask off. Because, it's kind of like I used to say it's like going to church camp and you're on a church camp high when you get home, but then you forget it all, right?
Right.
We don't want women to forget it all.
No.
We want to send them home with healing modalities that they can do at home, whether that's starting a journal and thinking about the questions that we give them, releasing that, that I'm so mad at myself for doing it, because that will creep back in. Our limiting beliefs, those thoughts of you're not good enough, that will creep back in. So we want to give them things they can take home and really keep the journey going.
Excellent. And how many spots are open for this type of session? How is it going to be a large group?
Yeah.
Is it limited?
We want it to be very, very intimate because the different things we're doing, especially cacao, is very intimate. We have it open for 12. We have 7 spots left.
Wow. Okay.
So it is a very intimate group, but we want you also another thing. And one thing I love about Divinely Positive is I want you to feel safe. When you're there, I want you to feel that you can say anything. You can literally open your heart. Nobody's going to judge you. And this event, well, every day at Divinely Positive, but this event especially, we don't want anybody to feel like they're being judged.
Right.
So it's a very safe environment for women.
It just sounds like an amazing event, and I'm assuming you're going to do more than just this one coming through if everything goes there. And I do want to just make a clarification. You are inviting women, correct, to this?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The artwork is all women, and we just,
Okay.
that connection. Yeah.
Got it. So amazing. And I can just tell through this whole process of us talking back and forth, your face, you can't see it on the show, but her face is just glowing, and she's very excited to tell and just passionate about it. But what do you like best about what it is you do?
My most favorite things is it's really me. It's really me.
Okay.
Sometimes we hide behind degrees. We hide behind titles. Mm-hmm. And I'm just me. And I love that I can just, for the first time, and I am in my 40s, for the first time, I can be Dee and who I truly am and who I was before the world told me who I had to be and what I had to do and to feel important and to feel special. But I often go back when I was talking about facing that shadow, and what a reminder it is when we face our shadow. I go back to the girl that before the world told me who I had to be. I go back to her, and she's in a purple sweater, and I can see her like in my mind. I often go back to her, and she's wearing acid wash jeans. And they're a little bit like high waters because, my mother had that, you only get one pair of jeans and you have to make them.
You have to make them last.
And I grew up grew tall fast. So I go back to her, and I often think, this is who you were always supposed to be. And I'm sorry that there was a long journey to get here. And I'm sorry that, maybe you had to go through some pain and some hurt, but look who you are now.
Yes.
And look how far you've come. And now you can offer this to other people and just to become who you are, who you were meant to be. And I hope at Divinely Positive, you feel that when you come in. And maybe you won't see the little girl in a purple sweater, but just know that I once was her.
Oh.
And I go back to her and say, we did it. We really did it.
That's amazing. Yes. And not a lot of people can say that because you did go through that journey, and that is a very powerful journey. How can one schedule an appointment with you, a sound healing, sound bath? How do they go about doing that?
Yeah, always look for on social media. You can always, Instagram, Facebook, always look for events because they're constantly being put up there. But you can always just give a call. Do you want the phone?
Yeah, go ahead if you want to.
520-270-5989. Mm-hmm. And at the studio, I go by Divinely Dee, so you can just ask for Divinely Dee.
There we go.
I also encourage women, when you really find who you are and who you're always meant to be, give yourself a new name. Who are you always meant to be? And
so you don't go back either.
So you don't go back to that. And I always say Divinely Dee is who she was really meant to be. And actually, I was one of those kids. I always say there's two different people in the world. The people who go in the souvenir shop and they find those license plate with their name on it. Mm-hmm. And the kids who could never find their name on a license plate. Mm-hmm. I was that kid. And I never found Dee anywhere. But I remember there was one time I got a gift. It was a bookmark, and it said Dee means divine. And that was the only thing I ever found. I'm named after my grandfather, so I didn't know what Dee meant. But I always go back to that I did find it once, and it was divine. So now, Divinely Dee. So just ask for Divinely Dee. You'll get me.
Connection to the name. That is amazing. Well, is there anything that we haven't covered that you'd like our listeners to know?
No, I would just invite everybody to come. And even if you don't know what sound healing is, I know it sounds, people are kind of nervous. In fact, recently, a couple of days ago, a lady contacted me and she said, I'm kind of nervous, but I really want to do this. And I love exposing people to sound healing because it's one of those things that once you experience it, you're going to want to come back. Because really all you do is just get bathed in the vibrations and the frequencies of sound. And I told her there's nothing to be scared of. You're really just going. She said, I know it looks amazing, but I'm nervous. So if you are nervous, all you have to know is you bring a yoga mat, bring a pillow, bring a blanket, and just simply lay down and let me do the rest of the work. I put gems and stones and crystals in your hand, and so as you're listening, you will be able to ground yourself with them. And the amazing thing happened the other night in a session. One of the girls in the session, she felt like she should roll over, and she had rose quartz in her hand, and she just put it on her belly just to roll over, and it went straight to her heart, and it stayed there.
Wow.
And rose quartz opens up our heart.
Oh.
And she left, and it just stayed there. It wouldn't fall off. And she said, that was meant to happen. That's my sign that my heart needed to be open. So you just never know what you're going to find. You never know what you're going to feel once you get there.
Oh, that is so amazing. So when somebody does do the sessions, they do have to bring their own yoga mats and pillows and stuff. So please make sure. The other thing that I have wanted to ask, and it's in my head, sorry. Do you still do sessions at people's homes, or is it only at your location?
No, I still do. I'm still open. In fact, soon I'll be playing there's certain corporate events, but I soon will be playing at a club here in town. Okay. It's going to be a private session. But yeah, I can play anywhere. I actually like performing with them. I recently did a performance where I played Moon River with my bowls.
Oh, wow.
And so, because they are notes, just like music. And so people don't realize that either, but they're notes just like a song. And I had my friend Marie Gonzalez, who does the cacao, she danced and just moved to it. And it was just this, we love performing it as well. So, no, I love taking my bowls on the road. They're kind of like my bandmates. That's kind of how I look at them. If I was a rock star.
Well, you are a rock star. I'm doing my air quotes with the gems and stones rock stars.
If I was a rock star, yeah.
You are a rock star. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. And I'm probably going to be checking you out myself. I'm not totally woo-woo, but I'm there. Anywho, that is all we have for Connecting with Tucson with Jaime Overturf here at the Stewart Title Studios. If you like the show, let us know. Give us a like and a listen. You can connect with Dee by going to our Instagram or Facebook pages, or go on the Tucson Business Channel with Connecting Tucson with Jaime Overturf. All of the links and her information will be posted there, and it will go direct to her site. So you can just click on that. As you know, don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone or even your box and make a new connection. You never know how a new connection is going to create a spark or pull you in a unique direction that you never thought you would go. Until next time, Tucson, this is Jaime Overturf with Farmers Insurance. Keep on making unique connections.